Tynee talks. We're gonna talk about it right here. Yeah. You ready? It's Tynee talks right here. We're gonna talk about it right here. We're gonna talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear. It's Tynee talks right here. We're gonna talk about it right here. I'm gonna talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear, cause it's Tynee talks. And I'ma talk about it. Yeah, cause it's Tynee talks. And I'ma talk about it. About it. About it. About it. Hey. And welcome to this episode of the Tynee Talks podcast. Tynee Talks is the podcast where you come to laugh and learn, the podcast that educates and entertains. Welcome back. I am your host, the Tynee, and today's show is brought to you by Ray Skin Essentials. Ray Skin Essentials is a natural skin, hair, and wellness store. All of the ingredients that are used are carefully sourced and curated for each product. 99% of the store is organic and free of preservatives and parabens. Be sure to visit www.raySkinEssentials.com and follow them on all social media at Ray Skin Essentials. That is at RAE Essentials. Y'all know how to spell it. So I have a very and before I move on with our sponsors, y'all need to see the product. This is it. This is the facial toning cream that has my face flawless like Beyonce. I mean, it's a little blemish here and there, but for the most part, I don't got no makeup on. So, period. It works. This all I use is Dove and this. So, get 15% off your entire order using code Tynee. That's code TYNEE. You can get 15% off your entire order. They sell all things dealing with the skin, from the toning cream to the cleansers to the oils to the little roly pin things to iron out those wrinkles. I never know what that thing is called. But visit Ray Skin Essentials and get yourself right and tight like me. So I have a very special episode today. I say every episode is special because it is. Today's episode is entitled The Importance of Blk Luv, because Blk Luv is just, it's just a beautiful thing. In the studio with me today, I have my honey bun.
What up, world?
Y'all may know him as the educated black man. Yeah, Terrence.
That's a throwback.
If you've been following Tynee Talks for quite some time, you know right. This is the educated black man. And I have with me a wonderful couple, duo, team. They go by Eansteam. And I have Marcello Eans.
Yes.
And Shannaine. I'm sorry. She's Jamaican. She gonna get all that. She's Jamaican. She said her mama put every letter of the alphabet in her name.
I'm an island girl.
She an island girl like Rihanna. Okay, she the island talk. So we're gonna talk about their brand today. Y'all see it. I know y'all see. Y'all want one of these shirts, don't y'all? Mm-hmm. Y'all gonna get one because the information gonna be down below for y'all to click on it and order your whole crew, your significant other, your best friend, your auntie, your grandma, your cousin,
children,
and the children, because they come in kid sizes too, because we're supporting Blk Luv all across the board, right? Yes, and so. I just want to tell me a little bit before we get into it. Tell me a little bit about your background and how you two met each other and formed the unit of the Eansteam.
Wow, this is always an interesting story. My gosh, where do I start? I'm trying to condense it.
We got time today.
Wow, babe, let me go.
Let you go.
Years ago, 2003. I was out on a mission, a crazy mission. I found myself moving from Las Vegas to New York City. I was with two other people, this guy and this woman. and we found ourselves going to New York City to go into the modeling industry. We were street ministers, right? We were sharing the gospel, the good news. And so we found ourselves saying, you know what, we're going to go into this industry, and it's one of the darkest industry, the whole model industry, and, you know, speak to people in that industry, telling them about the Lord. And so I had a clothing brand I was about to introduce with scriptures on them, right? Abbreviated, cool, fresh. And so we found ourselves going from model agency to agency to get someone to represent us, right? To be, and so we found ourselves in an elevator, and we're going up to the top floor, the penthouse suite. And here we are, and the doors open, and I see, my gosh,
Ooh.
what and who? Wow.
She was fine.
My.
Word.
I don't. It's rare that I get nervous. It's rare that I get to shaking, but I was scared. Cause I mean, I saw her right there. I mean, the pinstripe suit on, right? Had the legs crossed up, had the kinky glasses. I mean, had some reading glasses on.
You said kinky glasses.
That came out.
That's what you were thinking.
Yes. So I'm
well.
saying to myself, she owns this place. She's going to have to interview me. So I'm scared, like, I'm going to fumble over my words.
Yeah.
Like, oh. So I go grab the clipboard. I'm going to have to fill out my information, right? And I walk over to this chair, and I'm sitting directly in front of her. And I just, hello, how are you, right? Heart pounding, scared, right? And, you know, gradually we started talking. You know, how are you? She probably said something like, you know, blessed and highly favored. So I'm like, ooh.
Ooh. Right there, she had you, because you say.
She's talking my language. Ooh, that's the lingo. So somehow we got to talking about, now she's going to fight me on this one. That's where the conflict comes from.
Okay,
but,
okay.
We started talking about the this Bible story about Jacob sleeping on a rock. And we started talking about the interpretation. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? So we started talking.
Wait.
Yes.
From the intro into being how did y'all get to this
I
conversation?
don't even remember how we got there.
Okay.
I do not remember.
You remember?
She said she
Okay,
remembered.
can you
Talk
So,
about it.
You know, I was initially at the model agency because a friend of mine, he had just opened an agency, and I had been working in the industry as a scout for a while, and we all kind of branched off. I went back into education, and I wanted to come support my friend. He's like, hey, let's have lunch, come to the agency, but I want you to sit in the lobby and kind of just observe like how my people are doing. You know, are they greeting the models? Are they doing things by protocol? You know, just kind of want you to just give me some feedback on how I can either do things better or am I doing it right. So I was doing just that. I was kind of going around, greeting people and just kind of watching and taking notes. And like he said, he walked in. I had no idea. He walked in with two other people.
Ooh.
I only saw him.
You was peeping him
I
too.
was.
Come on.
There it is.
All right. Okay.
So I actually said something to him first, but he probably didn't remember that because I was doing that with everyone. I was kind of like, hey, how you doing? Just to kind of see what the feedback was. And then we just started talking. And, you know, he was sharing just kind of like why he's in New York and wanting to be a model and being a Christian in industry. And I was sharing with him just myself as a Christian. I was already kind of in the industry. I'd done some projects, a couple of indies and, you know, a couple of fashion shows and different things like that. And we just started talking about kind of like how dark the industry was. Mm-hmm. And I just remember at that time, I had so much going on. And I think he has this spirit, like he listens. I just felt like I knew him already. And I was just like, man, like I'm going through some things. And my recollection to what Bible story we started talking about was Job. Reason
Joel
being,
or Job? Job. Okay.
You know, the whole plight of Job.
Yes.
Because at the time I literally felt like the Lord just like had my back against the wall. It was like, okay, attention, everything that you have going on, halt, stop, cease. I need you to pay attention to me. Because it just felt like everything was falling apart. And so my best friend had called me a couple nights before that, and she was like, I was reading the story of Job, and I was thinking about you. And so we started kind of just talking about that and how it was relating to the things that I was going through. And so that's how I remember that happening.
Yeah.
And so we dove into that story just a little bit more and started to unpack it. And he gave me his business card. And it said Jesus Freaks. And I was like, okay.
Jesus Freaks?
Jesus Freaks.
Yeah.
Marcello Eans with the 702 area code.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, okay, where you Vegas and all that
Right.
happened. And I gave him my business card because at the same time, I was also starting an agency with a friend of mine called Chantal Models. And so we both realized like we were entrepreneurs and, we had all of those conversations. When I stepped away from the conversation after exchanging cards, I called two of my friends and I was like, listen, I think I just found my husband.
Ooh, come on.
And this is away from him.
Yeah.
This is after we separated. He left. And one of my friends, she was kind of anti-relationships at the time. She was like, girl, you did not find your husband. Stop. No. My other friend, which is my best friend of 32 years now, she was like, okay. She's a Christian. She was like, okay, talk to me. What was it? And she's like, I believe you. Because she was like, I've never heard you like this before.
Oh.
We went our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go from there?
And when I jumped on the elevator, as we're about to leave, I told my my friend, he's like a brother to me. I said, bro, I'm scared, man. I'm scared. I've been celibate for like 3 years. I said, man, I'm scared. That woman, I'm scared. But
She had the juices tingling.
but I told him, I said, I think I just met my wife.
Wow. So y'all both said it after y'all separated from each other.
I had no idea.
Crazy.
No
Real talk.
idea.
Real talk.
That's beautiful. You just knew it was
was
something
something.
in the
It
conversation.
was something.
That's kind of similar to our story when on our first, I call it our first meet and greet. On our, I don't want to call it a date because I was trying to see, what's what. But we had a meet and greet down at the Freeman's Cafe. And I thought I was going to be there for an hour and get my free meal.
Okay.
But an hour turned into 4 hours
Come
of
on.
conversation.
Come on.
And so I never wanted to depart from that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He's like, I had the sauce. I had the sauce.
I love that. So that is that's beautiful. And so you guys had the conversation with the friends.
Yes.
And then tell me about your first date.
So when I met Marcello, he was still like seeking and searching for a job in New York City.
Yes.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to show him New York.
Yeah.
So I took him up to Harlem, took him to the Apollo. That they were still actually at the time taping the Apollo.
Yeah.
Twice a week. So I took him to the Apollo twice.
Yep.
So I think that was our first date, like meeting up in Harlem and taking him to the Apollo. Then I took him to Sylvia's. I was like, we got, all the
You took him on a whole black tour.
Yeah, I'm like, you have to know this
We're in
place.
Harlem, baby.
It's more than about modeling New York. It's New York.
Yeah.
And I mean, those were, I guess you would say, our dates, but I think our first real date was we were out in the city one night just kind of hanging out. We would go to the public library on 5th to look for jobs.
Trying to get on the internet.
On the internet. Right?
I remember
Come
on.
AOL dial-up,
Yes.
the disc. It was for you Gen Zers out there. The internet that you know of today was not the internet of
Always
yesteryear.
around. We had to go find it.
It was like we was back in the trenches,
For real,
okay?
like-
Yes, in the chat rooms, okay?
Yes, yes. And so we had the daily news, and we were getting on Craigslist and just looking for jobs, and we had exhausted the possibilities of that day.
Yeah.
He had went literally to like different restaurants, different places. We were like walking all over Manhattan. And I turned, I said to him, I was like, are you hungry? And he's like, no, I'm good. And I said, no, this man know good and well.
Brother had
He know good and well.
You were fed off the energy of being with her.
brother had little to no money in the pocket.
Right. We're not going to embarrass ourselves out
So
here.
you wasn't hungry.
I'm letting you know.
His pride
Yes, we're
was
not
No,
gonna
against pride.
I'm not hungry. I'm good. I'm straight.
So here's the thing he learned about me really fast. I grew up, I'm a former athlete, competitive athlete, and I grew up around a lot of male cousins. You know what I mean? I grew up in Jamaica, moved and lived in the Bronx, and so I still had a lot of that energy around me. And I was just like, dude, I'm not like the average chick. Like,
Right.
What's up? you want to eat or what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is you is or is you
It's
ain't?
not, because Shannaine like to eat.
Right.
Go.
So if you're with me, just based on how I was raised, my grandmother always told me you never deny anyone food, shelter, and love.
That's right.
And so I was like, we're gonna eat. And he reluctantly was just like, all right.
Yeah.
So we went to this place in the city. Is it still open?
Probably so.
Chevy's. Yep. It was Chevy's, and he was still kind of looking at the menu like, trying to order appetizer. I'm like, order some food. We're about to eat. And I think that was the first time we sat down, and some of my walls, and like I got a little bit more vulnerable in our conversation. He got a little more vulnerable, and I think I don't know, something happened. Something happened there, because I think it's something he'd never done before.
Yeah.
It's kind of letting a woman lead and letting a woman say, hey, let me take care of you this way.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with that. I was like, okay, wait a minute.
And he fell in love with you because you fed him. You fed
And we
that
ate.
man.
And he realized that day that I liked it.
Yeah. you weren't like,
And it wasn't cute.
Right.
right.
I like my food.
None of that cute stuff.
I love that. That is so beautiful that in those early moments and days, you recognized and something in him, and he recognized something in you, and you basically helped him let his guard down and say, "Hey, I ain't like the rest, but come on, I got you.
Like, it's okay.
It's
it.
okay."
That's it.
And sometimes women, regardless of the race, doesn't let the man feel that way.
Right.
And then that pressure is building up in them because society, we're in a patriarchal society.
Right.
And it teaches you that the man is supposed to pay, and this
Right.
man was having a hard time. And when a woman is having a hard time, it's like, man, take care
Let
of
me
it.
lean on my man.
Yeah, but when the man is having a hard time, it should be reciprocal.
Indeed, I believe
So,
it.
but I also feel like in the scheme of patriarchy, Black love has always exhibited that reciprocity.
It has. It has. That's been, I would say, a fundamental quality of Black love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've had no choice but to be that way. We've had to hold our men down, understanding the plight that they have when no one else does.
That's right.
Whether it's we're gonna have two jobs while you go to school or get it together,
Yeah.
or you're in prison. We're just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold us down and the kids.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's never been, for me, like, it's not a question. It's just something that we do. It's intrinsic almost.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't care if you were dropped off in the islands first, or you were dropped off over here,
Yeah.
or you're still on the continent. I just
Yeah.
think it's something that we do. And when we talk about the true strength of a Black woman, that exists in that space,
That's
that
right.
type of strength. So I was definitely excited that he let me do that. And I had an opportunity to invite Marcello at the time into my world. I was working in a nonprofit in the Bronx, and I was like, you know what? I want you to come up here, because we realized that we had that in common. We love the youth.
Yes.
We love working with kids. And I was like, well, come meet my kids. You know, I ran a program at the time at the Gloria Wise Boys and Girls Club in the Bronx called Smart Girls, and I was one of the after-school program coordinators. I'm sorry. And so I was like, come meet my kids. And I'm very particular about my kids and who, you know what I mean? They're
Comes
not my
around them.
children,
Yeah.
but my
But they're your
kids.
babies. Yeah.
Because I was working with at-risk youth, that term from back in the day.
Yes.
And I brought them up there, and my babies were just like, he's cool. And these some rough kids. You know what I mean? Some babies are rough.
Right.
Yeah, and they just gravitated towards him. One of them was like, "Ooh, Miss Shannaine, ooh, I think he like you. I think that's your husband." I was like, "What?"
But everybody
I was like, "Little girl, you too grown. What are you, 11?" I'm serious. And that spoke volumes to me, because he understood my world. You know what I mean? He understood fully what I stood for, who I was, what was important to me, and the things that I loved. And I think in past relationships, elements of that was missing. It was kind of like I had to compromise this or compromise that, but I didn't feel like I had to compromise anything with him, and that was important to me.
I think that's important too, because when you bring someone around children have pure hearts.
Yes.
And they can recognize a pure heart in another person.
Yes.
And you know, if he wasn't right, they would have repelled from him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So Terrence, you know, we always talk about Black love, and we were just speaking on, you know, reciprocity, and you always say that Black love is revolutionary. And you also speak about how in this patriarchal society, as I touched on, we've always kind of had each other back, but in some other cultures, that's not the norm. So can you speak to why Black love is revolutionary and speak to the reciprocity. And as she said, no matter where we were dropped off at, as Kendrick would say, like, it's in our DNA, like that loyalty, that royalty, that
it's
you know, it's ingrained.
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it seems like no matter where we are on this planet, that Black people, the patriarchy can only go so far. It only can last. You know, it's like even if you're thinking about during maybe the 1920s or 30s, and you know, Black men are trying to assimilate into the society and be a little more dominant in the home, but really, you can't. Because like you said, she got to hold us down. And so you will have, not saying that it didn't happen, because we know it happened. But we know that even white society could look back at Black families and say, they always have. They've always said they got something different going on with these women, right? And how the men, you know, some of them look and say, these men letting their women run them, but this balance is real. No, that energy is real, and we are not going to succeed in what we have to face without each other. And that love is revolutionary, because in the end, what are they trying to do? Separate us, tear us apart.
Come on.
And that love is the juice. That's the energy. That's the ashe. That's all that's needed, you know, to make this happen. You know, we began right there, you know. We began right there. And so it's been in us for, like you say, in our DNA for a long time.
For a long time. Mr. Eans, can you speak to why Black love is revolutionary?
Wow. You know what? Just from personal experience, what you just said was powerful. When you talk about trying to separate us, I think it never really hit me until, when we talk about vulnerable, I go in. I'm an open book. Yo, we were on food stamps. Check it out. I think
like,
this
time?
is watch it.
Right.
Now I grew up on some stamps. Y'all. I'm all right. Like, I'm old school. We used to have to tear them out the book. Okay, I'm going back.
Monopoly money. Look.
Yes. Fast forward, now they put the money on a card, right?
Right.
EBT. So look up. They had first of the month just came, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So I mean, the card's sitting fat, maybe $900, right? We going to the store, get that. 2 carts. We in there.
Living large.
Oh, we about to do it. Get to the counter. Swipe that. Nothing.
Decline.
Oof.
I said, whoa. What just happened? Somewhere they didn't hit delete or backspace. Back in the day, they had to track you down and get them books.
That's right.
But now it's just the click of a button.
Yeah.
I said, whoa. I didn't like them having control over me. I didn't like them having control over my family. I had to go back to school. I had to take care of business.
Yeah.
What I saw was, the wife filling out this application, that application. He's making this much. He's making that much. And what I came to understand is you didn't want the black man in the house. Food stamp, WICs, that can take care of, what does WICs stand for?
Women,
infant, and children.
Say it. Yes. They didn't want us together.
Right.
I think that's when it really hit me.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be in the house.
Yeah.
And I started to cling that much more. So when you talk about it being revolutionary, every day we're going against the grain.
Every day.
We're going against the grain. I could sit back and collect those stamps from a distance.
Yeah.
I'm in the house. Whenever they come by, I'm not there, but I am there. You with me?
I get you.
But
like Claudine.
I'm there, and I don't want your money. We gonna do this. We
That's
gonna
right.
suffer together. We gonna build together.
Indeed.
That's the revolution to me.
we gonna suffer together and we gonna build together. Y'all heard that? That's a quotable right there.
All right.
But we gonna build more than we suffer today.
Yes.
That's it.
Right.
That's beautiful, because as you were speaking, I was thinking of the movie Claudine. Remember they would have to hide their iron.
Yes, when they were coming to the house.
Yeah, James Earl Jones had to hide in the closet, under the couch, because it showed you right there, like the men, like, basically the powers that be want you to lead the women and children to fend for themselves, while the man is wherever incarcerated or down bad, and we know the world that we live in. You know what I mean? So to see how you all have overcome, through suffering and building, and to building up this brand that we're going to talk about. Yes. Y'all see the shirts, I love you, Black woman. I love you, Black man. Yes. And I do want to say that Terrence actually proposed to me in this shirt.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
I love their stories. Yes, we love those stories.
He took me on a little date. Unbeknownst to me, he was parading around his Black woman with his I love you, Black woman shirt on the whole day.
All right.
And, everybody was, ooh, and a nine. Where you get that shirt from? Where you get that shirt? Whole time he was plotting. And he proposed to me. He really wanted to know that he loved this Black woman.
Come on.
Yes.
But whenever we do wear the shirts, we're stopped. We went on a walk like 2 weeks ago. We saw a couple. They were like, let me get that shirt. We took them right to y'all page, and they followed y'all right on the spot. But we love that. We love this message. And did you wear this to school and somebody said so?
So I just want to go back real quick. So I had heard me and Marcello was working in a school together, and I heard the kids have been, there's some rumblings going on about somebody who's like me.
That's always the best.
For those who don't know, the Black man right here is an educator, a historian, history teacher, and Mr. Eans, Marcello, is also a teacher.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So, I find out that he's in the art class.
Yes.
So I go and introduce myself and just seeing what's up, looking at the art that he had the students doing. I'm like, oh, he getting them to kind of get into what, our culture and stuff like that. So we get to chopping it up, and I swing by and see how he's doing. And one day I got to talking to him about, man, I want to get a shirt brand together. And he said, well, I already had jumped in the game. Let me show you what it is. Yeah. And when he showed me, it was so slick at it. It's so simple.
It's so simple, but so
powerful.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, oh, how much? How much? This right here. Yes. And I was like, immediately, I need two. One for me, one for the lady.
Let's go.
And I'm telling you, every single time I put this shirt on, there's going to be a Black woman.
Oh, yeah.
I love that shirt. I love you, Black man.
Yes.
I love it.
That's beautiful.
And that's what we
That's
want.
how I got the
That's
shirt.
good.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
So y'all got this impactful, beautiful brand that y'all live.
Wow.
Let's say that they live.
Yes.
They live this Black love. Tell us, tell the audience, tell my talkers how y'all came up with this concept.
Wow, it's a combination of things. But I'll take it back to where it originally started for me. Like I said earlier, I was already sort of into creating shirts and putting messages on shirts. But, just the two of us together, just been kind of watching the climate of America and what's been going on with us as Black people, not to mention the youth. Certain things have always kind of been in the head, but it's just been a matter of, okay, what are we going to create? But some of you may know right now, just looking at on Instagram, this it's some type of post that's going around. I love you, Black man. I love you, Black man. I love you, Black man.
Audio.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
Man, I love you. Yeah.
So I was watching a video one night, and there were some people, actually women. I love you, Black man. I love you, Black man. I'm just by myself, just listening to it. And when I say it pierced the heart, I was in tears just watching the video, just hearing those words. I said, why does it feel like this is foreign? Why do I feel like we don't hear this
It's
as
not our
much?
norm.
This is not the norm.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm like, something has to happen. Like, I don't know how many people have seen the video, but I barely saw it. So I don't know if everybody's seen it yet, but this message has to get out. It has to. And so, of course, me, and being the creative that I am, I'm trying to figure out how am I going to make this? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How is it going to come about? Put some things together, and made it happen. And look up. I'm at school one day, working. My wife sends me a picture.
I had to make it come to life.
She done printed the message up on the shirt.
Come on, wife.
Come on.
Come on, Shannaine.
She out in the marketplace.
With the newborn baby, like, I made a shirt.
Done got a couple orders, too, in the
Same
store.
day. Same day.
Beautiful.
But as Terrence was saying earlier, simplicity.
Yes.
But I know it's impactful, it's profound, it's powerful. It's a conversation starter every time. And you know, the thing for me is I wear I love you black woman. I also wear I love you black man, because when I think about us in the streets, I personally believe that we are our biggest enemy. There's times you look at I'm talking physical right now from at one standpoint, but we're not threatened by this white dude over here. But if I see another dude who looks like me, I'm like, am I ready for him? And that's why I wear the shape. Bruh, I have no problem with you. I love you, King. I see the deity in you. There's a whole nother enemy out there that's greater than both of us. Once we finish scrapping, there's somebody else out there ready to take us out. I love you, King. And so, like I said, at the same time, we have to make one I love you black family to show that thing that they were trying to separate earlier.
Come on.
Family.
No, we're going to hold this thing down. We're going to build, be fruitful, and multiply. Let's go.
Woo, that low key, and it literally gave me chills. Like it literally did. Like, that's beautiful. I love you, black family. Yes. I love you, black man. I love you, black woman. And I love that you as a man, whether I love you, black man. Because I'm sure when men see you, they do a double take.
Like, what? I'm not sure.
Right. But it to me, it says I come in peace.
That's it.
That's it. And it breaks down the barrier.
I had a brother sending me actually we talked on the phone. He said he bought his nephew one. His nephew was having trouble. Stayed with him for a while. He gave him a shirt. I love you, black boy. The young man went back to Compton, where he was from, walking through the hood. Crips and Bloods here and there. He gave him props.
Yeah.
There was no beef.
Exactly.
I said, wow.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Our boys and girls, our own children, they wear one. Our boys, I love you, black boy. Our girls, I love you, black girl. That affirmation has to happen. They have to know that we're not waiting for the TVs, for the magazines, all those different things to validate you. You already know you're precious. You already know you're royal. I love me. Because as teachers, I can't tell you the stories that we've both heard.
Yeah.
Y'all have probably heard. The kids are fighting each other in school. The insecurities. You too dark. You too light. Your hair is real. It's not. All of those different things. Just love self.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let my wife speak on it a little bit as well.
Thank you.
My most definitely, just what the backstory that Marcello shared was somewhat of the part of the foundation. But for me, I remember how he was after watching that video. And just like you, it gave me goosebumps because he was in tears. Like, he was really moved by that. And it made me think, as a black woman, you know, just okay, I love my husband, I love you. But I love you, black man. You know what I mean? How many times do black women exhibit that? How many times do we say that to not just our significant other? And how much it's needed. At the time, we had just had our third son. And I saw my oldest son growing, and I saw how much it was almost like he was resented. You know what I mean? And some things he would share with me about not feeling loved by his people. And he would ask us, you know, Mom and Dad, is it like, I'm a smart black boy. What's wrong with that? I feel like I don't have ground to stand on. I'm not a super thug. I'm not super feminine. I'm just a black boy that's smart. And so for me, it came from just my motherhood journey and the struggles of seeing him trying to fit in and be loved by his peers that look like him. I didn't say the girls, but even the boys. Yeah. So I also thought back to all the young people we had worked with and realized that we already kind of had this message in our narrative with the kids that we'd mentored in Pine Bluff and in New York. I was like, we always fed into these kids. We always poured into them this type of love. And now we're actually just kind of putting context to it. You know what I mean? Like we're making it into something that is an affirmation, I would say. But the way that we loved on them, it was always about you being precious, you being valuable, you being worthy, your blackness being powerful, you know. So it just seemed right. Like we had to bring it to life. We had to make sure that it was seen. We didn't know if it was something that was gonna, you know, blow up. It wasn't about that. It was just let's when I printed the shirts, I just got tired of seeing the design and it not, you know, being like on a shirt or anything else. I was like, listen, we have to make this thing something.
Yes.
And I remember we were still learning. I was still learning how to work the machine.
Yeah. the press,
to cut it, the whole nine. I was like watching YouTube videos, like, I'm gonna do this. So when I sent him the message of the shirt, and I was like, I'm going to the library, and I'm gonna go to the marketplace in DeSoto where they have a lot of black businesses. And I went to the library, and an older black woman pulled me to the side, and she's like, I need 2 of those. And I was looking at her like, for real? And she said, no, I need them today. She said, I'm only in the DeSoto area today. I need one for me and my daughter. So I went back home. I was like, oh, I don't have no black shirts. Went to Walmart, found 2 black shirts and printed it up and brought it back. And she bought it. Yeah. And not just there, like, it wasn't about just her supporting the brand financially, but she got it.
She understood.
She understood it. And it really, really made a difference to me as far as like, okay, this is something that we have to go forward with. And then the way we speak to our children, we both didn't mention this. We speak to our children this way.
Yes, right.
We do. Like, I love you, black boy. I love you, black girl. You know what I mean? And we see the difference, and I'm also an educator, so we see the difference in a classroom where you can tell the children who are coming to school and they have that foundation. You know that? Yeah. They show up different. When they understand that they're loved, they're valued, they show up different. And I'm like, we're in this environment every day, and it's our duty. I tell my students all the time, if I'm here as a black woman in your space for 8 hours, whatever it may be, and I'm not pouring into you, I shouldn't be here. Ooh.
Disservice.
I shouldn't be here.
Okay, so amen.
I should not be here.
That's right.
You know, I should not, because my duty goes beyond what I'm educating you in, and it goes to the holistic child. And when I walk away, I need to have created an impact in your life where you can do better than I did.
That's right.
You can make better decisions. You can feel more loved and understood than when you came into the door this morning. And I know that's the place that I teach from. And this just, for me, just came full circle. So for me, that's really where my drive for the brand came from.
I love that. I love the brand. That's powerful. Terrence, can you speak to what she's talking about, those kids that come in that you know are unloved? And I know you pour into them. I know all y'all do. What about your perspective and them being able to see such imaging on the shirt? Because one of my prayers, I always say, Lord, help me to be mindful of the things that I ingest. Let me be mindful of the things that I let into my ear, and let me be mindful of the things that I watch visually. Because imaging is for real. I remember Sprite had they used to say image is nothing, thirst is everything. But image is literally everything. And I always say be careful about what you see, because that gets into your spirit. And it's a video that was on Facebook years ago that stands out to me that I wish that I would have never saw, but I saw it. And I'll let you answer in a minute, Terrence, but it was a little boy. His mother was on heroin, and I don't even know what city they were in, but she was high, out of her mind high, and the dealers, I don't know why somebody would record this, but the little boy, her son, was begging and pleading with her to stop, mama, come home. Stop, mama, come home. And he's screaming at her, and I don't know why somebody would record this, but I always feel bad that I saw this, because it sits with me that he was pleading like that. He just wanted his mama, and she was a slave to the drug. You know what I mean? For however she got there. And I always think about that little boy. Where is he today? What is he doing? Is his mama clean? You know, so images is real and it's powerful. So for somebody to see this visually, to know it, to feel it. And when you talk about students, I have a lot of friends. I'm friendly, male friends, and I just learned something about one of my oldest friends the other day on a podcast. He was on another podcast and talking about his journey, and he was talking about how his mom was on drugs. And when I met him when I was in middle school, I didn't know that, but I was always the come to church with me, or let me give you a hug. Not in I'm trying to date you type way.
Just being a friend.
Just being a friend. And I didn't know back then what he was going through. And we're still friends to this day. You know what I mean? But I probably was a light in his life, you know, to, exude the love to him. Unbeknownst to me, what he was experiencing at home.
Wow.
So when you talk about the children and seeing that, but yeah, Mr. Rogers, how do you handle the children that feeling loved, and when you wear this shirt at school, and how do you exude that to them?
Well, the kids tell me, y'all educators, so you know how it is. You struggle sometimes.
Yes.
You just be like, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, because it is taxing, right?
Yeah. Especially 2021, 2022.
Yeah. But the one thing that always yanks me back is there's going to be on the worst week where I'm like, quitting.
This is it.
Mr. Rogers, you're the only one who cares.
Oh, yeah. They do it to you every time.
You the only one who cares. The rest of these teachers don't care. And I'm trying to tell you, if it's a kid who, sorry, Mr. Rogers, I'm not going to do any work, but I just come in your room to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And because I'm not belittling them or what have you, they're there. It's a safe space, whatever. And I'm still talking to them about the fact that they're not academically performing, but ultimately, though, they're like, I got this going on or whatever. But in the schools where you see a lot of fights, where you see, just when you say you wear the shirt, I love you, black man, I see it in these young ladies, in these young men, where they really don't know how to, they only know like this real superficial thing that they think is love, and it's like a hot flaming passion,
That's it.
but it's not genuine concern, but they know it when they feel it.
Yeah, they do.
They know it when they feel it, but they don't know how to reciprocate it.
Exactly.
They don't know how to give it.
Yeah.
Like, parallel, like to each other, like a horizontal love instead of, you get love from your parent, you might love a child, that vertical love, but just trying to tell them, I say to them, I love y'all, right? Like,
Yeah.
At first, the kids be like, Mr. Rogers. No, for real,
Right.
I love you, though.
Right.
Because they need it.
They
You see it amongst our kids how they're not even shown ways to love each other. Like I said, they're trying to rip us apart because they're, every day on social media, it's some meme or some TikTok that's saying, here's an example, she for the streets, or he ain't nothing but a dog. And it's just like their expectations at 14.
Oh, yeah.
It's already that this boy that I like, that I have passion for, he's going to do me wrong.
Of course.
And this boy is like this girl that I have passion for eventually, or I cannot show her that I actually am concerned for her.
Oh.
Because there's something wrong with that.
Because there's something not right with it. And like you said, when you see those kids where they come from homes where mama and daddy is hugging on them and kissing on them, you see it. It's a totally different vibration because you see they get exactly that love they need.
Yeah, and they know how to reciprocate it. Those kids, they do.
You just we got to wrap up soon. I want to be here all day. But baby, you just spoke a word. The thing, imaging, this brand, this message, it is vital and it's important, and even y'all love for one another is important. People don't realize. Sometimes people say when a celebrity couple breaks up, and then people be like, why you mad for? You didn't know them. But I could see why you would look to them for love. Like if they're your ideal of what love is and you didn't know nothing was going wrong, it breaks your heart. Yeah. So when these 14-year-olds have this expectation, they think it's not going to work because maybe the couple that they looked up to broke up. So that's why not only is Black love a revolutionary, and not only is marriage and love a ministry.
Yeah, it is.
My God.
It is.
What you want to say about that?
Babe.
It is.
Who did I told it to somebody a couple of days ago, didn't I?
It is. Yes, you did.
Our motto is, Eansteam. It's not just a brand; it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I just told somebody a couple of days ago, it's not just a lifestyle; it's a ministry. It's a ministry. What I've recognized as a teacher for these last 6-7 years in the classroom is that these kids are watching reality TV. I grew up on the Cosby Show.
TGIF.
So I wanted a wife.
Yes.
I wanted children.
That's right.
I didn't have that growing up. Single parent household. I wanted a wife. I wanted children. I saw the conversation between dad and the children. I saw mama working. I saw daddy working. I went to an HBCU because I watched Different World.
Correct.
Do y'all understand?
Same.
I do.
Like, going back to imagery. And so it hit me. I said, you know what? Because the same story I just shared earlier about how we met, at the beginning of the school year, when I introduced myself to the kids after I've heard their stories, I share that story. But I share so much of my life with them. Mr. Eans, you have a ring? You married? So I'm telling them all these different things. And what I've realized is the two of us, we're somebody's Cosby Show.
Yeah.
It's a ministry, yo.
I throw this phone at
It's
you.
a ministry.
I'm like,
Yes.
to that.
It's a ministry.
And they don't want y'all to break apart, because if y'all do, it could be a ripple effect.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I'll say this, so I teach and I coach. And this year I'm coaching with some younger coaches. And probably about a few weeks ago, 3 of them, they're in their late 20s and early 20s. They're like, Coach Eans, I promise you, like what you have with your husband, like that's truly what I desire. And they started to share how love is portrayed through social media and how people are getting married, not even understanding what true love is, especially Black people. Right, and they're talking about their generation, like kind of what they're seeing among their friends. And I said to them, that's because we've never really been taught to choose a husband or a wife. We've been taught to choose a marriage. Right,
They've been taught to choose a wedding.
a wedding. And I say that because people, and I say a marriage because a lot of times, a lot of us are taught to think that if we just get married,
It'll work itself out.
the Band-Aids, we can fix everything. But the thing is, you have to choose that person. You have to choose that love, right? And when they said that to me, I was like, well, why? And they're like, because, like, I can tell that y'all love each other. And then y'all have this family. Like, you've normalized the fact that Black families can happen. And not all of them came from households where they did have mom and dad. Maybe one, I think 2 of them did and one did not. So for me, hearing that, I was like, this is just in my daily DNA of what I do here at the school. Now you talk about 14-year-olds. I'm gonna take you back to my 6th graders who are falling in love
Oh yeah.
and having and having relationships.
Yeah. I
Right?
heard.
Baby girl,
I'm raising a 6th
We
grader.
have a
Let me tell you.
sixth grader.
baby girl came to me. She said, Miss Eans, now for real, you got 5 kids? Listen to the questioning. I said, yes. Your husband married you because you had them kids. I said, why would you ask me that? She said, because that's what happened. She said, don't nobody marry nobody with 5 kids unless you just had them kids and he just, he don't want to go nowhere. I said, why would that be the thought process? You know what I mean? Like, why would you think that? She said, because that's what my daddy did. She said, but he ended up leaving because my mama, we got 3, I think my mama got 3 baby daddies. And she just started going in. And this is at 11. So already at 11, her perception of Black love is warped.
Ooh.
She's already been marred. Like, it's already negative to her. And she was like, that's why? She said, that's why for me, I'm not even going to like no Black dude. She was like, I just like girls. And I'm listening to where it's going. And what I realized that baby girl was searching and seeking for, it wasn't just acceptance. She wanted someone to tell her that this can be real. Yeah. Because she didn't believe that this could happen.
Right.
And I started talking to her just in more detail, and I said, okay, all right. I said, but I love my husband. And she was like, why? So I started and I'm telling you, this kid every day in trouble. Every day. I mean, every day. Cutting class, fighting, alternative school, you name it. I started talking to her on a personal level, sharing our love story with her. And my daughters go to school where I teach. And she always says, she's like, every time your baby girl come in your office and eat lunch with you, or in the room and eat lunch with you, you always tell her you love her. And she said, my mama don't do that. And I said, well, why not? She said, I don't know. She said, she just never really just did that. She's 11. And so I started just talking to her more, giving her some journals to express how she's, feeling about different things. And I'm not just saying this because, like, I'm a superhero teacher. No. Her grades shot up. Yeah. Every time I see her, like you said, I love you, right? She's like, I do. And at the beginning, there was definitely resistance. She wasn't used to being hugged. She wasn't used to being, held appropriately, of course. And then I started writing her, like, little affirmations. So I have this thing for my students. It's called the Black Girls Affirmation Letter. And I give it to all of them that I see that are struggling with that. I'm like, every morning, if you can't do anything else, just say 5 of these. You know what I mean? she's now taken that and she's come up with her own. She's, created her own affirmations. But I say that because being in an environment where I'm constantly hearing kids talk about what I call social media love,
Child.
not understanding themselves what it is to be loved, I think the ask of us is too much. We're asking too much of them that they don't know. If they're not being loved at home, they're not being loved by the community. They're not being loved at school, in the school community. And we're asking them now to love their peers. Like you said, that parallel love. How can they do something that they don't even know what it looks like, feels like, smells like, tastes? They don't know. You know what I mean? And so I use our story daily with my girls. I have a student that is in the 8th grade, and he's 16. And the conversation I had to have with him was about self-love. Truly, Black man, you're literally about to be a Black man and loving self.
And they already see you as a Black man.
You know what I mean?
Man,
and so I wear
boy.
this to school. He can tell you I unapologetically wear it to school. And I remember him asking me, he's like, baby, I don't know, it's not Black History Month. I'm like, no, but this is a part of who I am. And right. I want the kids to ask me questions. So of course I wear I Love You Black Woman. Miss Eans, you like girls? Because I had cut my hair. I said no.
Let's have that conversation.
But it was an opportunity to have a conversation with them about why I wear it, how I feel about myself. And every time they see me, they either going, right? Or they know that true revolutionary love. I speak to my kids about that.
That's right.
And I feel like there's so much red tape within our school system that tries to keep us from having these conversations with our students. And I tell my this is me. Like, when you hired me, this is who you got. This is who I'm going to be every day. I have to create that impact every day I'm in this classroom with these babies. I have no choice. So I don't just, like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's not just with our children, but it's with everyone we come in contact with. We've had white families stop us in grocery stores and say, wow, I love that. And people think it's just, we've had Black families scornfully look at us.
Yeah, like,
wearing this.
Are you dividing us?
Yeah, I'm being honest. So there's
I
always, you know what I mean? Like, we have to be, and we prepare our children for that. Our oldest is 17, and he wears it to school where he's one of 7 Black boys in his senior class. And so in wearing I Love You Black Man now, because, he's not wearing boy or girl anymore, or a Black woman, he's professing, like he said, I'm just professing who I am. This is me. Like, I'm ready for it. Let's have that conversation. So we've watched how he's grown from this, I want to be loved, I'm trying to be, to just like, yo, this is what it is.
That's right.
Let's have this conversation.
Take it or leave it.
So I know that was a lot, but I just feel
it
like
was needed.
When you talked about, it just really pierced my heart when you talked about, when you say to them, I love you, and they kind of look at you like, you're right. Because they need it, they want it. They just don't know how to gravitate to it. They don't know how to accept it. You know what I mean? And a lot of times they don't know how to interpret that type of love.
That's right.
Because it's never been given to them. It's not the foundation that they have.
That's beautiful. I thank you for sharing that. That wasn't too much. It was just enough. Mr. Rogers, share that proverb that you say about when the children are not embraced by the village.
Okay, so we all know the African proverb of it takes a village to raise a child. But there's another proverb that goes, the child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel the warmth.
Woo!
Yeah, burn it down to feel the warmth. And so we don't want no more villages burned down. We gonna start spreading that love. I want y'all to know that the quality of this cotton quality that they chose and selected is perfect. Because let me tell y'all something. I don't like no rough, crusty cotton. Okay, I like my stuff to feel lightweight and just good. It fit me good. You know what I mean? Right. She rocking hers with the leather pants.
Yes, I am.
So shameless plug. Buy the brand.
Let's go.
I mean, if this powerful conversation didn't make you want to buy it, something wrong with you. Okay? Yes. I want y'all to know. I want y'all to talk to know. I love you. I love each and every listener. I love each and every person that's going to watch this on YouTube. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Yes. And I love y'all.
Thank you.
Eans family.
Love you, Black woman. Love you, Black man.
And I thank y'all for coming on this show today. It was supposed to happen years ago, but I think it happened at the right time.
Indeed.
It happened at its appointed time.
Yes.
And it's going to be powerful.
Yes.
So tell us where they can follow you on Instagram and where they can purchase the shirt. And we'll also have it in the show notes below.
Definitely go to www.eansteam.com. That's EANSTEAM.com. Eansteam. Eansteam. When we walk through the airports, they look, man, it's like 7 of y'all. Y'all got like a whole basketball team. Yeah, it's a team. And while you watching, read this. Eansteam, all right? So Eansteam.com. And on IG, on Instagram, follow us at Eansteam. That's, once again, EANSTEAM.
And that will be in the show notes. You know what? I want to add to y'all's shirt because people want it on the back part. Just go ahead and put the website on the back right there, or a QR code. Just put it like right there. I gave y'all a little free game.
We'll take it.
Just give me give us an extra shirt for that lovely idea.
We got some new products. You know what I'm saying? Some new designs.
You could just go ahead and I'll wear it on the podcast and throw it on down at the bottom.
We need you to let us know how we could sponsor a podcast.
What? Well, I'll email that to y'all. I would love for you all to sponsor Tynee Talks.
So we can support this Blk Luv. Thank you for having us, but thank you for being an unapologetic Black couple doing this. You know what I mean? I think we need to be in this space more than we knew. So we definitely appreciate y'all and what you do. Appreciate what you do in your community, what you're doing for our students. We just love y'all. So truly, we appreciate it. But send us that sponsorship package. Send it so we can support. So we could be like, and this podcast was sponsored by.
Okay. Speaking of. Today's episode is brought to you by Ray Skin Essentials. You can go to Ray Skin Essentials at www.raySkinEssentials.com. Use code Tynee, Tynee, and get 15% off your entire order. In true Tynee Talks fashion, we got to give our shout out. So now is your moment to give your shout out to who you want to shout out to.
You shout out.
Well, first and foremost, I'm shouting out my babies.
Yeah.
Yes, all 5 of them. That's a whole nother story. The ones that we weren't supposed to have, but they are here.
Amen.
But truly, I want to shout out this Black man, my best friend, my partner in crime, good and bad. I'm joking, but no. I just want to thank you for your love, your support, your honesty, transparency, and I just want to shout out, this lifestyle. And I want to shout out, is it Kay by Kennedy? This is a young sister that's come into our life. She's super creative. She's been helping us just as like an auntie with our babies. She just started an earring type accessory line. I can give you the information, but I just want to support. I want to shout out our village.
Yes,
because we do not do this alone. We have a village that supports us and supports this brand and our children, our family. So you know who you are, each and every one of you. For Miss Sissy, who in Jamaica, sit down in a Spanish Town, support you. All right, Spanish Town, Jamaica, you already know I'm a born and grow. Support. You know what I'm saying? y'all find YouTube, watch this video. But I shout out to the Garrison in Spanish Town, Tredio Park. Always love.
Boop, boop, boop. I love that.
All right. Wow. Definitely shout out to our 5 blessings. Doctors told my wife years ago she could have no kids. And the Lord said, bop, 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 bop. Right, let's go. So yes, definitely shout out to our blessings. And I do shout out my queen right here, my goddess. Truly, as she said earlier, ride or die. At night when I'm in the bed, and if she's downstairs for too long, I get scared.
I got a phone call.
I told her she's my solace. When I'm in this big bed by myself, I just need to hold on to her, touch her, know that she's there somewhere.
Yeah.
I think the Bible said years ago, man should not be alone.
Okay.
All right. So yes, this is my blessing, my helpmeet, my other half, that rib. Shout out, baby. Shout out to the Bluff, where I'm from. All right, 71601. You know it. Shout out to every student that I've touched that have touched me. All right, I give you much love, and we're gonna continue to share this Blk Luv because they're trying to take it out the books. And I'm going to keep giving it to you as long as I can.
And shout out to the 7416 where this all started in the Boogie Down South Bronx, East Tremont, where the Eans team was built.
Yeah.
All right? You know, the Bronx.
Let's go.
Yeah.
BX.
BX.
Not the BX. Like it. Timo, who you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to everybody, to the talkers. Hey,
Let's go.
like Biggie said, spread love. It's not just the Brooklyn way.
What?
Spread love.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's your last one. Okay. I want to give a shout out to the Eans team. Thank you all so much for being on the show. Thank you for creating this brand, this imagery, and actually living and exuding Black love. Shout out to our sponsors of the show. Thank you. Shout out to Brett, my #1 fan. Shout out to you, Brett. We love you,
Cool
Brett.
last name.
Ain't Brett a dope name? That's a lady, by the way. Her name's
It is.
Brett.
That's
So
dope.
shout out to you, Brett. I know you'll be listening and tuning in. And we're recording today at Podcast Suites in Dallas, Texas. And that's about it. So peace. Tynee talk.
Wow.
We're gonna talk about it right here. Yeah. You ready? It's Tynee talks right here. We're gonna talk about it right here. We're gonna talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear.